And we're back
Hello again.
again.
Excellent. All right. So I've got a new AI in action activity to talk about today. And I have to
I
say,
know you're super excited about this one
I was
because
going
you
to say, I have to
texted
say,
me and you said, "Oh my God, this was the best AI experience I've ever had."
I think it was game changing for me. I think
Yeah.
it really was. So let me just set up what the challenge was. I have a real portfolio of what I do. One of the things I do is I've started providing some advisory services to a company in Quebec. And so, for everyone's benefit, in Canada, we have various different goods and services taxes, and they differ in Ontario versus Quebec. So, I'm domiciled in Ontario, but I'm providing particular service in Quebec. And because of that, there's different tax rules that apply. And so, as an example, I'm ready to submit my first invoice. So I've got my fee, my professional fee. I've got my airline receipt. I've got my hotel receipt and various different taxi type receipts. And each one of them has a slightly different challenge to it. So whether it's the taxis in Ontario versus the taxis in Quebec, different. Taxi
In
Uber,
terms of like
in
in
terms of the
Ontario, you've got GST, and
right?
Quebec, you've got
In
just
Quebec, you've
HST.
just got like the QST, which is like these two subparts to it. And so it's personally very confusing. So I had already asked ChatGPT, and I did the big thinking mode because I wanted really detailed understanding. And I went into ChatGPT at first a couple of weeks ago to help me understand, do I actually need to register for an HST number as a supplier of services? And I specifically said to it, and I provided the link, use this link only. And the
Hmm.
link was to the Canadian Revenue Agency's detail, right? I said, only, this is your only source to use. And that's important because then it's not going out into the world and looking at other things and
Yeah.
hallucinating. It is just using the official source. So after I'd done that, I'm like, yesterday I'm trying to prepare this first invoice. I'm like, I'm going to go back into that same conversation and say, okay, now I'm about to submit my first invoice and I don't know actually how to think about the taxes on the various different receipts that I need to submit. And the airline one is the most complicated one because, as we all know from flying, there are many different types of taxes on an airline invoice or receipt, right? Like various different ones. So I uploaded it into ChatGPT and said,
You
okay,
just took a picture, or it was a PDF or
it was a
something,
PDF,
right?
right? So I PDFed it, or I already had a PDF of it. So I put that into ChatGPT in that same conversation and said, okay, here, I had provided these services. I'm in Ontario. The company is in Quebec. I need to figure out, I'm doing my first invoice. I need to figure out the taxes. I'm in this whole HST trail. Help me understand it. And then it broke the whole thing out for me, like in great detail around what aspects of the airline receipt get taxed at what level.
Yeah.
So, for example, the portion of the flight that is Toronto to Montreal is somewhat treated differently as the portion of the flight
You're
from Montreal
kidding.
back to
That's
Toronto,
insane.
right? And
Right.
how am I going to figure all this out?
Yeah.
Me, who can really understand numbers but can never calculate them, right? So I'm like, this is going to
Or
be a
time.
or time, right? Like the time it would take me to figure this out. So then it said to me, so if you want to, give me your fee and any other receipts you have, and I will create an invoice for you. I'm like, yes, you will. And so I put all the receipts in, and then it came back and said, I can't really read the taxi receipt because it was a paper receipt scanned in Montreal. Da da da. So I learned through that whole process about some very specific taxes around how taxis treat them in Quebec that I had no idea about. And I still have one question on the airline limo here in Ontario and how it treats taxes.
Wow.
Essentially, if you've ever looked at an Uber receipt or any of those kind of receipts, they don't break out the tax. They just give you the
Mm.
total. And so you have to presume the tax, right? And then
Yeah.
I'm trying to calculate that in my mind. I'm like, back to ChatGPT. So it basically broke the whole thing out for me. And then it said, would you like me to actually create a PDF invoice? Do you have your logo? And I'm like, one moment, please. And I went opened another tab where I had started to create a logo before. Finished creating my logo, brought it back in there, gave it instructions around my address, adding in my HST number, adding in payment instructions, adding in the name of the client and their address, and then it produced the whole thing for me inside of a PDF. That I all I had to do was eyeball it and then go good, merge it with like the receipt files and sent it off to the client.
Nice.
Amazing.
Now, when you do that again,
This is my thing. So this is where I need help. How do I actually make sure the next time I want to do this, it's going to replicate the same process?
and you want it to give you a finished product that you don't have to edit or touch or anything, or
Well, I think I ended up doing a small amount of editing on this one, just in
Mhm.
terms of some of the descriptions of things. Like I actually added in, it was for this advisory board meeting on this date, which it didn't have in
Right.
there, that kind of thing.
And did you edit it by telling the ChatGPT to change it, or did you edit it by downloading it and editing the PDF or
In
something?
the end, I did it because I'd already downloaded it, and then went
Yeah,
through and I was looking at it, and realized, oh, you know what?
yeah.
Tweak this.
So I got a couple ideas. One is we could make it spit it out in Word or
Hmm.
Excel or something, right?
Hmm.
And if that's the case, I would suggest you use Claude instead of ChatGPT because Claude is way better at creating documents like that.
Yeah.
But either way, I think you should create a ChatGPT calls them custom GPTs, Claude
Hmm.
calls them projects, right? But
Okay.
essentially it's the same thing. It's where it's for a process like this where you're going to do the same thing basically over and over using the same kind of information, the same flow, but with
Yeah.
maybe different information.
Yeah.
So to do that, you can go in there, you can upload your logo. So create a new GPT, a custom GPT, or create a new project. Upload your logo, tell it your HST number or your GST number, whatever it is. Tell it the name of your company, and if you have like footer information like an address and email and all that kind of stuff, tell it all that stuff that you want it to know. And even the stuff like you say that just missed it, put it in there and then
Hmm.
next time it'll spit it out.
Yeah.
And then I would also give it some background on yourself, right? This is what I do, these are the services I provide, da, 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 so it knows when it's going to do that. And then I would also let me jump back a bit. I would probably start by going to your existing conversation
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, summarize this into one system prompt so that I can create a custom GPT," and even tell it that, right?
Hmm.
Um, and it'll put it all, summarize it all, and put it into a nice crisp prompt.
Yeah.
And then you can paste that into your new GPT or your project or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So now you have a single place to go that
Hmm.
knows what to do, right? It knows your logo, knows your company name, knows what you do, knows your HST number, knows the services you provide. And all you have to do is say, oh, you can even say in the prompt, I'm going to upload a bunch of receipts,
Hmm.
and you just and I'll tell you the name of the customer, and you give me an invoice based on this. And if I forget to add my fees, then remind me to ask me what my fees are, and so on and so forth. And then once you save that, then it's next month, when you're doing the next invoice for that same
Hmm.
customer or any customer,
Hmm.
you just go to that, open it up, drop in all those things, and poof, there's your invoice.
Excellent.
The next step, if you really wanted to get crazy, is you could look to see if there's like a QuickBooks MCP server that you could actually send it to QuickBooks and have it in there and everything else. But that's probably a topic for another
Another day.
another
And I think
podcast.
I need to have more of those kind of clients before I think I get to that stage.
Yeah, before you
But
start paying
yeah,
$150 a month for accounting software,
yeah,
you probably should have more than a
yeah.
couple of invoices.
Couple of invoices. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but no,
okay.
it's exciting. Like I said, you texted me and you could hear the excitement in your voice. She's like, "Oh my God, I like really get it now. I got it before, but I like really get it now." And
Yeah.
it's fun to have those kind of epiphany moments where you're like, the light goes on and you're like, "Oh, I see. I
Yeah.
see more of what this can do." So
Yeah.
it's
Great.
exciting times.
It is. It is. All
And
right.
there's
Well, sorry,
a
go ahead.
little bit off topic. from that, but on topic with exciting times. I mean,
Yes.
last week was just unbelievable in terms of the new stuff coming out. Um, Kind of mind-boggling to be honest. The big one in my mind is ChatGPT or OpenAI came out with basically payments methods
Right.
in
E-commerce.
ChatGPT, right? So you can now buy stuff. Etsy, like the store has to be set up to do it, and
Yeah.
but Etsy is a good example. That's one of the ones they first went to. Matter of fact, I think I heard that the Etsy stock went up 16% or
Oh,
something
wow.
when ChatGPT announced that they had this, and Etsy was one of the first users.
Hmm.
But it's pretty amazing. Like you can basically chat with it, and it'll say, "Oh yeah, here you want this," and you click yes, and it sends the order to Etsy in this
Yeah.
example, charges your credit card, and it's just like you went to the Etsy store and
Hmm.
ordered it. Like the order sits at Etsy, and you follow up with Etsy, and Etsy
Yeah.
ships it and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. That's
and that was
awesome.
just one of the examples of some of the stuff
Hmm.
that was released last week.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think more of the visualization stuff is getting better and better. I remember a couple weeks ago you did that demo about sort of the Where's Waldo of Geoff inside data centers,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
even that's
Sora
getting better.
Sora 2 for video just came out too, which is mind-boggling as well.
Yeah.
I've spent all last weekend playing with Sora 2. Um, and yeah, I mean it definitely takes some trial and error to
Yeah.
kind of figure out how to prompt it and stuff like that, but it just gets better and better and better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm still learning, right? How to get consistent. Like I wanted to have one background and a bunch of different people in different videos,
Yeah.
basically having the real background.
Hmm.
And I could get it to do it with like an image, like I could upload an image, but the problem is it looked like an image.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't tell it to use a background, it creates a very real looking image,
Yeah.
like background, right?
Yeah.
3D and the
But
whole bit.
each time it creates a different one.
Yeah. And I'm sure that there's a way to do that. I just haven't figured that out yet. So
Yeah. Yeah. The experiment continues.
some of it's fun. Some of it's fun. Some of it gets scarier and
Yeah.
scarier.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Indeed.
So,
So
all right. Well, why don't we leave it there? I think my action item is to go away and create this custom GPT or project workflow. So, thank you for that. That's a really
thank
good one.
you.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that your excitement with that thing.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Hopefully, it'll give some of our Canadian viewers some ideas.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's a
You,
whole.
yeah, the whole HST is a bit foreign here, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
all
Good.
right. Well,
Okay.
onward.
We'll see you the next time.
Bye.
Bye.